And we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome.
I know it all too well already.
Just in time.
Oh,
I'm
just
here.
wow.
Yeah, Justin.
Everybody's
It's
favorite
just in
is
time.
here, me.
It's me. No, wait, what? Huh? What? Huh?
You picked a time to go live. I'll just say that.
Why?
Wait,
I don't
alright.
know. Yeah.
I have a question.
Were you like, do you have us like muted when you went live?
Well, you see, so here's the fucking thing about this audio nonsense that I still have to fucking figure out. This new application that I'm using. It routes Discord through a thing, and it gives me the option to adjust Discord's volume. The only problem is it doesn't actually do anything. Like, it lies to me. So I have to figure out why it's lying to me. And then once I figure that out, I'm going to make it so I can mute it stream-wise.
So, Orange, I have a question.
Yes.
On your Catboy meter thing, what does it mean under it by saying NaN days to go?
Well, you see,
NaN days to go.
well, because there's no hard limit, so it's just gonna keep going on until forever. But it insists that I give it a date, so the thing, it ends on December 31st at 99999.
Wow.
And the number is.
Because you know.
You mean four nines?
Yes. Like
but yes,
That's the twist. There's actually a fourth 9.
Maybe Shelly was right in saying not a number.
Oh, pardon me, that was right, Mike. I'm sorry.
So yeah, it can't fucking handle how big the number is. It's just too huge, too big. But you know, we could.
Big.
Now we can't adjust that number. But if you want to adjust that number 89 right there, tell your friends. And eventually I'll have to put on some cat ears and a cattail. You know, that could be the bonus incentive. If enough people subscribe, I'll do a camera and I'll buy a thing of cat ears and a tail and I'll
humiliate himself for
yeah,
clout.
I'll humiliate myself for clout.
Nobody wants to see that, dude.
The next milestone will be you have to get the maid outfit and the cat ears. Are you saying that Orange is not good enough to humiliate himself in front of a live audience?
I'm sorry to say, but nobody would ever want to see that.
Hey, whoa! I've considered getting like those cat ear headphones several times. Those look fun.
I've also considered
those
that.
I'm actually okay with because those look cute.
If you give me enough money, I will do it. As long as it doesn't get me in jail.
What?
Hey, why would you? Okay.
Why would you get arrested?
Listen,
someone
might ask you to kill someone. I'm sorry.
You my hit list right now.
Whoa!
You don't know what Catboys be doing up in here.
Here's the thing. Of course I have to wear the maid dress. That's like the whole point.
Here's also the thing. You though have to subscribe to his OnlyFans to actually see the tail. That's not safe for the camera.
Ew. That's ew.
Y'all are killing me. Never mind. Start the VN.
Yeah, that's right.
We're be on this one.
No more of these shenanigans. Let's just go ahead and
let's move on.
Literally everybody but B and me should be muted right now. Let's get into it, you know?
Whee!
Bada bing, bada boom. Capture the game. There we go. It seemed Giselle really didn't know much about me. Despite being sent here from my house, she was unaware of the monthly deliveries, as well as the reason why I lived in the mansion all by myself. Why, though, would they not have told her anything? Why had she been sent here, left completely in the dark? Giselle looked up at me, fear and bewilderment in her eyes, though I thought I could see a glint of suspicion beneath it all. Like her true feelings were bubbling to the surface. Everyone had darkness in them they kept hidden. No one was exactly who they appeared to be. She was undoubtedly thinking, I'm not here because I want to be. I knew from the moment I first saw her that her bubbly, sweet effect was all a facade. Had she thought I was dense enough to not realize. She was no different than anyone else. What I didn't understand, though, was why she refused to leave no matter how hard I pushed. What was she hiding beneath that innocent-looking face? What was she thinking? What did she carry on her shoulders? Everyone is hiding something, deceiving those around them. I had to figure out what she really was. May I ask you something?
Yes.
On the day you arrived, You said you made a teeny tiny mistake while working at my family's house. Tell me about that. What did you do at the Bollinger estate? In that moment, brief though it was, her disposition wavered. Fear? Terror? No. Perhaps anger? I couldn't tell. Nevertheless, it was abundantly clear that that was a subject she had no interest in me preaching. And so she had borne her fangs. The smile she donned was now visibly forced.
It's nothing you need to concern yourself with, Master. I promise it was an insignificant little thing.
She couldn't say. Why couldn't she tell me? What had she done there? What did this woman know about that house? What did she know about me? What was concealed beneath that smile of hers? I am the master of this house, and you are a servant. And you refuse to tell me?
Like I said, it's nothing. And there's no reason to bother you. With a mere servant's personal blunders, Master.
What are you hiding?
I'm not hiding anything.
Then you should be able to tell me exactly what you did at the Bollinger estate.
Like I said...
Tell me. Tell me.
You won't tell me a thing about yourself, and yet you demand others to tell you about themselves. Here you are, practically threatening me. Demanding I tell you something I don't want to talk about. And yet you still haven't told me anything about the painting.
Oh, so I was right. You do have something to hide. How many times must I repeat myself? We are not equals. I don't care if it's insignificant, or something you don't want to talk about.
What?
I'm ordering you to tell me. A trifling blunder would not get someone sent to live with a cursed man in a house spoken of so unfavorably. Whatever she had done at the Bollinger estate, that had something to do with why she was here. If she truly hadn't done anything, then she had something to gain from this place. Or possibly from me. And if that was the case, I had to get her to talk.
Make me.
Giselle's eyes were open wide. I recognized the look that she was giving me. I knew very well what that gaze meant. Oh, shit. Who the Oh, is this? Is this Noir?
No, Khan, go.
Khan, yeah, it's Khan. Yeah, go.
You're an abomination.
Fair enough. It was the same as them. Fear, contempt, revulsion, repulsion. The way she acted, the way she spoke. It was exactly the same. You're no different. I made her uncomfortable. I made her afraid. She thought I was unpleasant. She thought I was despicable. She thought I was an abomination. In a frenzy, I grabbed her by the shoulders, clamping down far more powerfully than I had meant to.
Stop!
Her face, contorted in pain, morphed into someone else. Who was I directing my anger at? Where was this rage being aimed? Who are you calling an abomination?
What?
Tell me, who? The black furor bubbling up from within me knew no end. The girl, she ridiculed me. She denied my identity with her glare. I couldn't escape from that phantom, that reality.
What are you? I never called you a... No, get away from me! Get your hands off of me!
Giselle's screams echoed in the entrance hall, rattling my eardrums. She frantically smacked my arms aside, and then I came back to my senses. She was standing a little ways away, breathing heavily, arms wrapped tight around her body, glowering at me, showing her opposition to my touching her. Enlightening.
No. You just, you startled me, that's all.
Some servant you are, telling your master not to touch you.
Oh, right, I have, you know. I'm, allergic to people. It's a very unique condition, I hear. I mean, can you believe that? You know how some people get all red and itchy when they touch a dog or a cat? It's that, except for people, so...
So?
So, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I beg your forgiveness.
Why don't you speak your mind?
What?
This is what's going through your mind right now. I have nothing to apologize for.
No, that's not...
I can somewhat sympathize with your plight. Being made to apologize even though you're hurting. I raised my hand against you first, after all.
Then you, forgive me?
Sympathy does not equate to forgiveness. Now, you take care of the package. I'm heading back to my chambers. What is it?
You're not going to make me leave after what I just did.
No, I'm not. For it would seem I can make you leave on your own whenever I so please. Besides, I'd yet to learn what she had done. It would be exceedingly difficult to get the story from her own mouth, which left me with one option: to write a letter to my mother, as much as the very thought revolted me.
Several days had passed since the package arrived, and the end of my third week living in the mansion was drawing near. Michelle wasn't getting any friendlier either. Continued to either snub or bluntly dismiss me whenever we crossed paths. I didn't understand why he acted that way around me. But there was little point in asking when he seemed to think there was little point in But there was little point in asking when he seemed to think there was little point in talking to me at all. Although, at first I had been sure that there was some way to get him to warm up to me. And the more time I spent in the mansion, the more my willpower began to feel like it was at its breaking point. I could tell myself to stay positive until I was blue in the face, but it would only work for so long. The one pretty place in the whole house. I'm glad he hasn't covered it back up. Blue moonlight shone quietly through the stained glass window, vainly illuminating some of the room. I hadn't noticed until now, but the room with the stained glass window appeared to be modeled after a chapel. Rows of pews faced the window, below which sat what used to be a pulpit. There was little left of it, though, and an awkward length of silver was mounted to the pulpit's front face. What was, I assumed, formerly a cross. Upon further reflection, rather than facing the window, the pews seemed to be pointed at the pulpit, or perhaps the cross hanging from it. I wasn't sure why there'd be a chapel in a mansion, but I had no one to ask about it. For a house of this size, a statue of Christ or the Virgin Mary seems more appropriate. It's a very well-made chapel at any rate. I doubted Michel had it built for himself. There would be no reason for him to cover the window if that were the case. Nor had I ever seen him come to pray. He doesn't seem like one to believe in God. God. I'm not even sure if If God really existed, then surely the world would be a much more pleasant, peaceful place. No unfair disparities in money or power. No senseless misfortune. I certainly would have found myself here either. But God was evidently quite fond of giving mankind trials, so he would probably tell me with a straight face that this was one too. Or perhaps we simply had a false impression of him, and he didn't actually give us anything. He just merely sat back and watched from somewhere far, far away. It wasn't his job to bring peace to the world or ensure our laws were fair. That's all mankind's responsibility. What is God? And what are angels? I have no idea. Maybe the Bible has answers. Why should I pray to someone so far away? I don't even know my prayer is even getting there. But still, it's not like I have any other options. Don't you worry. It'll all work out, promise. I already know where I'm going to work. It's a really prominent noble house, way out in the out of reach of some small-time merchants like us. You never know, this could be my big break. Oh, I'm just kidding. Don't look so worried. I'll be just fine, honestly. I'll make enough money for us to get back onto our feet. Oh, for goodness sakes, I can handle it. Leave everything to me. You just wait. I'll make our family into something you can be proud of. I'll be fine. Yeah, say bye to Mom for me. I probably won't be home for a while. What? You're afraid I'm gonna make some careless mistake? I'm not that airheaded. I can be a refined and elegant young lady. Those nobles won't even know what to believe anymore. If you don't believe me, then how about I give you a little taste? How are you doing this fine morning, Master? Your morning beverage is ready, prepared with the utmost of care. See, how about that? Not bad, huh? What? You really think it sounded forced? I was the daughter of a merchant who ran a shop in the capital's main street. My father had passed away in a plague, so it was just me, my mother, and my older sister. It would be a lie to say business was doing well. We struggled to squeak by day to day after taxes. But we couldn't just abandon the shop and leave the capital either. So we tried to make the best of what we were able to take in between the three of us. Then my sister fell in love with a moderately well-off aristocrat. Both my mom and I were supportive of her in her desire to marry. But their union almost fell apart because she was not suitable for him. Merchants were hardly the lowest class. What we lacked, instead, was wealth. We needed another source of money beyond what the shop took in. If only we had money, my sister could get married. If only we had money, my mom wouldn't have to work so hard. If only we had money. It was then that someone from the distinguished Bollinger estate approached me. He said that they were in need of Abigails and would love to have me. He said that if I agreed to work for them, the Bollinger estate would take care of my family. Generally speaking, noble houses took Abigails from other lower-ranked noble houses. It was unthinkable for someone of my status to receive such an offer. So I took it as a once-in-a-lifetime chance and accepted the offer. I just pray nothing bad happens to my sister. And that Mom is getting enough money to live comfortably. And that's all I can do. They're nobility. And they have plenty of money. Enough to spare some. The light shining through the stained glass window began to grow murky, fading into blackness. It felt like a message from on high that no, my prayers would not be answered. The bluish-white illumination shining down upon me disappeared as clouds blocked the moon. Oh, come on. You don't even want to look at a sullied woman like me? Oh, for heaven's sake. I never asked to end up like this. Their nobility. They have plenty of money. Enough to spare some. Oh, come on. You don't even want to look at a sullied woman like me? Oh, for heaven's sake. I never asked to end up like this.
Giselle was sitting in one of the pews in the room with the stained glass window. Just looking at her, you might have thought she was offering a prayer. But the words coming from her mouth were anything but prayerful. They were filled with resentment. They have plenty of money. A sullied woman. And I never asked to end up like this. So this is what's beneath that facade. Most likely money is what she's after. All I need to do now is confirm my suspicions with them. Just what awful secrets will I uncover? I gave Giselle, sitting at the pew with her head drooped, a cursory glance before leaving the chapel. I had somewhere else to be. The bitterly cold outside air felt like dozens of needles flowing into my lungs. It had been so long since I had stepped beyond the mansion's walls. A thick mist canopied the night sky, blocking out the moonlight. Naturally, the heavens did not rejoice at my leaving the house. It had been 10 years since I had seen the mansion from the outside, and it hadn't changed one bit. A gloomy scar upon the earth, shrouded in darkness. Hardly the kind of place someone would enthusiastically approach. Nevertheless, it was better than the house, than that house.
Yes.
Cool.
Who is it?
Michelle.
Oh, what? Michelle? Bollinger? Here. Just a moment. I'll be right there. Come in.
I'm sorry, Nora. I'm sorry, Nora. You're like breathing directly into your mic. I'm hearing every breath.
It sounds
Make
like
yourself-
after every statement you're like deep throating your mic. It's so funny.
You notice it's very stormy
Yeah,
outside.
kind of, yeah, sorry.
I think my fan was
very
pointing right at
funny.
me.
It's okay.
Come in. It's a humble abode, but make yourself at home.
Oh, it's still going. I'm sorry. That tornado got hands.
Wow. I must say this is rather unexpected. Just one word and I would have been up there in a heartbeat.
And how was I supposed to do that? I am, regrettably, fresh out of carrier pigeons.
Ah, right, yes. My apologies.
This man, living in a small cottage not too far from the mansion, had been hired by the Bollinger family. His job, to watch over me. That said, we never actually interacted. He was tasked with keeping track of whether I was still alive, whether I remained in the mansion. The monthly package from my family was delivered to him, which he then passed on to me. It was insipidly convoluted, but it was indicative of how much they wanted to avoid anyone learning about me.
Well, what can I do for you?
The manservant was visibly rattled. Afraid, too. But not because of the difference in our social ranks. I had a pretty good idea of what he had been told about me. He was afraid of me. Or more specifically, my curse. People fear that which they cannot comprehend. Not just children, adults as well. They fear demons, witches, and curses. Anything impure or not of this world. But I had long since gotten used to being viewed as such. It didn't sadden me, it didn't disappoint me. It didn't pain me. Some things were too foolish to concern yourself over. Though it certainly doesn't make me feel good, either. I was, on some level, annoyed. That woman's appearance at the mansion had created ripples in my once tranquil life. So before I got into the real reason for my visit, I decided to take out a bit of my frustration. Raise your head, there's no need to be afraid. I don't know what you've been told, but I promise I don't bite.
How rude of me. You're right, my sincerest apologies.
Your job is to keep watch over me. If the mere sight of me has you trembling, what will you do if I try to run? And I have little trouble escaping.
That would be quite unfortunate. How would I ever tell your mother?
I'm not sure that would end well at all. You could lose everything you've been paid so far. In fact, you might be lucky to get out with your life.
Surely your mother would not.
You're aware of who you're dealing with, right? Michel, the cursed youngest son of the Boligny family, who made a pact with the devil. I don't need a blade to take your life. You wouldn't even make it back to report anything.
Have mercy, Lord Michel. Please do not leave the mansion. Please spare me.
Only joking.
Uh,
I don't have the power to kill by way of a curse. The man fell silent, but the look on his face said, "You are cursed, though, aren't you?" Once someone's got an idea planted in their head, it's nigh impossible to get rid of it. I am so cursed that anyone can see it, that I need to be locked away in a dark mansion. I am here because I had a question for you, not to warn you that I plan to run away.
a question? For me?
Yes. Approximately 3 weeks ago, a black-haired woman came to the mansion. Tell me what you know about her.
I was told there would be an Abigail coming, but that's all. I don't know anything else about her. I swear that's all I know. I haven't been told anything else.
I believe you. I never thought they would tell you anything.
Right.
He had been hired to observe me, but that's all he was. A hired hand. He wouldn't be privy to the Boligny family's internal affairs. Take this.
A letter?
I need you to deliver it to my mother.
You could have just left it in the box from this month's package, and I would have collected it when I dropped off the next one.
I'm in urgent need of information. Will you do this for me?
Yes. Why, yes, absolutely. I'll fetch a delivery boy tomorrow morning.
Much appreciated. Good night.
You too. Do take care. Lord Michel,
Yes.
is it true that you don't have...
Would you like me to sew your mouth shut so you can never open it again?
Not at all. My sincerest apologies, Lord Michel. That was horribly disrespectful. Good night.
Cursed, I most certainly am. My mother's response arrived just 10 days later. The delivery boy must have pushed his horse quite hard. It was almost exactly a month after Giselle had moved in. And shortly thereafter, on a bone-chilling night, everything came crashing down. The rift between us grew deeper, and the wall between us impossibly high. When I lay bare, the scars in her chest, and mercilessly plunged my knife into them.
How did we get to this point? I hate everything. My spirits were getting darker and darker, like they were slowly sinking into deep morass. I had been at the mansion for a month, and every day since felt twice as long as it should have. And I'd been optimistic at first. I'd even had a little hope that me and Michelle could get along together. But it hadn't taken long for that hope to be shattered, and the cheer locked away inside me. We lived in the same house, but we never spoke anymore. On the few occasions we did cross paths, he just gave me a cold glare and nothing more. Scorn and suspicion in his eyes. Whenever he looked at me like that, it felt as though my throat was being constricted, like it was deep under water and running out of air. Like my very presence in the world was a crime. I never could have imagined just how agonizing constant rejection was. I started despising others, despising myself, despising the world, convinced that there was no one who could set me free. I considered running away from everything rather than live like this another day. But I would have done so long ago if that were actually an option. If they found out I had fled, that I had acted outside their wishes, my mom and sister would pay. I had succeeded in allowing my sister to get married and my mom to live comfortably. And I had given them happiness. I couldn't take that away from them again. Not after what I had to go through to do it. No, cut that out. I'm getting way too depressing, Giselle. Pull yourself together. That's not who you are. Be positive. The negativity didn't only come from my interactions with Michelle either. No, there seemed to be some kind of terrible presence within the mansion that twisted people's hearts. The mansion was, in fact, a bit of a local legend, which I had been informed about before being sent here. People claimed it was cursed and that an evil witch had lived in it for many, many years. Michelle joked that he was a witch, but I didn't believe him. I'm not usually one to believe in magic or curses at all. But being here so long, I can't help but wonder. Anyway, things can't go on like this. If I was to remain in this house, the situation needed to improve a lot. I was gonna lose my mind if things kept up as they were. I was ready to give up once. But I'm going to try closing the distance between us again. If I could get him to open up even the tiniest bit, then maybe that would make living here a little easier. I wasn't gonna try to make us best friends or anything. Just repair our relationship enough that being around each other wasn't torturous. I've got my work cut out for me. How do I even begin that conversation? Heck, what is that conversation even going to be about? Maybe I should hold off and do it another day. No. I've made up my mind to do this, so I should do it quickly. The longer I wait, the worse things are gonna get. And eventually there won't be any fixing anything. We need to talk. We need to be in the same room for more than 10 seconds, and we need to get to know each other. He needs to know that he's not the reason I have something to hide. Okay. Let's do this. I made my way to Michelle's chambers, which she had told me to stay away from. My stride was slow and ponderous, at the very least, and I did my best to keep some semblance of a smile on my face. This is the one time I'd really like to have someone give me a little nudge. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay. Pardon, Master? There's something I'd like to talk to you about. Master? I guess he's not here. And the door wasn't locked. As was the rest of the house, as was the rest of his house, his room was shrouded in darkness. The only light came from the candle in my hand. Master? Are you there, Master? Hmm. I guess I missed him. It's probably best if I don't stick around for long. He's already got a less than stellar impression of me. I don't want to imagine what'll happen if he thinks I've been snooping through his room. Yeah, I should get out of here. I spun around on my heels, taking a step towards the door, when I caught sight of an object draped in a black sheet. I knew I had to get out of there as quickly as possible, but I was intrigued by that object. Something he kept hidden in a room I was forbidden to enter. Maybe it was a clue to discovering Michelle's secrets. I reached my hand down towards the object, knowing good and well I shouldn't. Was it because I wanted to learn more about him? Was it because I wanted to tear down the veil he hid behind? Or was it the whispers of the witch? What do we have here? I pulled off the sheet, revealing a framed painting of what appeared to be a noble woman with porcelain white skin. What stood out about her, though, was that the woman's hair was as pale as her skin. And then... What? I noticed something else. Wide gashes ravaged the canvas, damaging her face beyond repair. What the... I had imagined it had once been a painting of a beautiful woman, but there's hardly a trace of that left. And the only feeling it inspired anymore was a deep chill. This damage was not accidental, it was deliberate, angry, and the contempt emanating from within the frame was stifling. A thick, suffocating blackness seeped into me. Why would anyone... She was surely a most beautiful woman. Angelic, even. A storm of questions assaulted me. Who was she? Why had her face been carved up? Why had the painting been covered? What had happened? Who could have... There's only one person who could have done this. Michelle, why on earth?
You saw it, didn't you? You saw the painting, didn't you? You went in my room without permission, and you saw the painting, didn't you? Angelic, you say? There's nothing angelic about that damned woman.
I scrambled to make some excuse, but nothing would come out of my mouth. All I could do was tremble.
Why did you enter my chambers?
Mish...
What were you looking for?
No.
Answer me.
My mouth wouldn't move properly. I couldn't make my voice come out. It was like I wasn't even in my own body anymore. The wisp of air that was drawn in my lungs were expelled as hoarse gasps. My breaths were shallow and rapid. I was inhaling, but I wasn't getting any air. I was terrified. 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 Of his eyes, of his voice, of his feelings, of the knife he was holding up to me. Of the terrible past I was chained to. The man's voice. The man's very flesh. It terrified me.
What were you trying to find, and what were you planning to do with it? Answer me. Another thing you refuse to tell me, then?
No, I'm trying. Nothing's coming out of my mouth, though. Everything's so bright. And I can't catch my breath. I can't breathe.
That's fine, though. You don't have to tell me. I have a pretty good idea.
An idea? What do you mean?
Money is what brought you to the Bouligny estate. And it's what brought you to me, too. There are countless people who would love to see that house fall. And a noble family fears nothing more than disrepute. You were, I assume, approached by someone scheming the Bouligny's downfall.
No.
And as it just so happens, the Boulignys have a very unfortunate secret, one they are quite desperate to keep under wraps. Me. Someone suspected I might still be alive, so they sent you to dig up information about me. My very existence threatens to tear down that house. The cursed youngest son of the Bouligny family. Michel, who made a pact with the devil, who is supposed to be dead, but is very much alive. You sweet-talked your way into that house, and into information about me and my present situation. And you meant to trade that information for money. I bet whoever it was put quite a handsome price on it, too. Or maybe the one plotting to ruin the Bouligny family is you.
No, that's not true.
Then enlighten me.
Please, hear me out. I didn't know anything about you. I wasn't sniffing around or trying to bring you harm in any way.
Then tell me, if that's not the reason you wormed your way into the Bouligny estate, and that's not what you're doing here, and that's not what you're doing here, then tell me what it is.
I...
Tell me why you came to this mansion.
You want me to tell you about that? No way, that's asking way too much.
Tell me.
I swear I haven't done anything wrong to you. I simply wanted to make our life together a little more comfortable. To bring some warmth to this frigid relationship we have. That's the only reason I wanted to find out more about you.
I must assume I'm right then, Giselle.
I must tell him he's wrong. I must tell him I mean no harm. But I can't say anything.
A merchant's daughter became an abigail at a noble house. Could you come up with a more obvious lie?
Your father's the one who... Wait. How does he know that I'm from a merchant's family?
You look perplexed. I may be imprisoned in this house, not free to move about as I please, but I have my ways. I know everything.
Everything. Then he knows about that, too.
Oh yes, I do know.
He... Don't...
In your quest for money...
Don't say it.
You slept with my father.
In that moment, Michel plunged his knife into my heart. He carved through my chest with those words, causing me to completely lose control of myself. in a panic frenzy, and probably screaming all the way, I knocked the man aside and ran and ran and ran. I could hear a clap of thunder in the distance. Oh, how I wish a bolt of lightning would come crashing down upon me. Maybe if God burnt my tainted flesh with a divine lightning bolt, it would get rid of some of the filth. But the jagged streaks of light cascading across the dark clouds did not strike me, only creating restless grumbles in the sky. Why? I knew that if I fled that mansion, I would likely be causing trouble for my mom and sister. But I was helpless to stop myself. All I could do was run from all that threatened me with no regard for the consequences. Before long, small droplets of rain began falling, which soon grew heavy enough to penetrate the forest canopy and reach the ground where I stood. The downpour drowned out my tears and my cries. But yet, because I had rushed from the mansion without even putting on a cloak, each cold winter droplet stung bitterly against my flesh. But the bite of the rain was like a warm embrace compared to what I had been through before. Michelle had spoken the truth. As much as I wanted to deny it and to avert my eyes, reality was forever engraved in this body. No, I don't want to think about it. But I had no say in the matter. Get out of my head.
Can I be heard?
Yes.
Come over here, Giselle.
Okay, may I ask why you asked me here so late at night, Master?
Oh, I just wanted to chat. Care for some wine? Come close and I'll pour you a glass. I had this wine imported from up north. They use very hard water and like it rather tart, so it leaves quite the lasting impression on your tongue. And yet it goes down so easily, you just can't seem to stop. What do you say? Have a sip. Or does your expertise as a trader allow you to evaluate a wine's quality without tasting it?
No, but,
Please, Giselle, don't trample all of them graces.
Very well then. I'll have a sip, Master, but no more.
Have you ever considered growing out your hair?
Having long hair made it difficult to do my job.
You're not a merchant anymore, though. You deserve to look like the woman you truly are. I have no doubt longer hair will accentuate your natural beauty. It's a gorgeous shade of black, so deep a man could get lost in it for years. It would contrast the color of your skin fabulously. Highlight your eyes, your cheekbones, your nape, your shoulders, and your chest.
I should get going.
Oh, but we're not done talking yet.
I would not want lack of sleep to interfere with my ability to work tomorrow. And thank you very much for the wine. It was delicious.
No need to be so cold-hearted. From the moment I first laid eyes on
Master! That's enough fooling around for one night.
Now, be a I wouldn't do anything to hurt you. I simply want to express my love.
Let go of me. I only came here to work, nothing more.
The first time I saw you, I thought it would be a tragic waste to leave you to wither away working in this little street-side shop.
Stop!
You can't tell me you didn't know a merchant girl had no place in a house like this, even as a servant. There's only one reason you would be allowed here.
No, I swear it never even crossed my mind.
It would seem you're even more innocent than you look. But you figured it all out by now, haven't you?
No, let go of me. Stop this!
Keep your voice down. Do not shout, Giselle. If anyone were to find out about this, you would be the one shouldering the consequences, not me.
What?
You're a maid, and I'm the master of the house. Whose word do you think holds more weight? Don't worry. I won't do anything to hurt you. I promise your family will be exceptionally well taken care of. Your mother will have the comfortable life you wanted for her. But you know what will happen. If you raise a fuss and make a fool of yourself. Not only will your family not get any of our money, and not only will your sister not get to marry, you'll all spend the rest of your lives on the streets.
How could you be so cruel? This is blackmail.
Blackmail? For a merchant's daughter, you don't know much about trade, do you? Then let me give you a little lesson about market value. The goods you're after, Giselle, are not cheap. Understand? Now, let me see that beautiful body of yours.
He was an older man, so I hadn't expected him to be so strong. But I couldn't break free of his grip, and I found myself entirely at his mercy. Beneath the gaudy outfit lay a hungry beast, and I was seeing the creature's true colors for the first time that day. And the aging man ran his disgusting, slobbery tongue across my exposed skin. Everything he placed his hands upon withered away. Every piece of flesh he pressed his lips against putrefied, rotted, decayed, rankled. I trembled in revulsion, at which the man laughed, seemingly interpreting it as something else. I wonder what kind of place hell was. If hell's warden only flayed and carved their prisoners, I would have preferred that instead. I would rather have been sliced into tiny little chunks and cast into the hellfire. I would have chosen eternal torment over being touched by this man another second. But I didn't get to choose my hell. Eventually, the man forced open the gates I had been holding fast and spread his festering death inside me.
Listen to me, Giselle. It is in both of our best interests to keep this between the two of us. If you can do that, I'll continue to do good by you and your family. Oh, don't look at me like that, please. I'm thrilled to have you here in this house, Giselle. She has long since lost her mind, after all. It's torture just being in the same room. And my sons, they hardly ever come home. But you, Giselle, you give color to my dull life. You make it exciting once again. Now go on back to your room. I'll be waiting here at the same time next week.
I couldn't escape from that man's grasp. Not when he used my family against me. Some weeks I would just not go to his chambers. My one feeble means of resistance. But when I did that, he would send another Abigail to come find me the next day. I couldn't ignore his summons when he got other people involved. And then, when the two of us were alone, the mask would come off. And he would discipline me for not showing up before taking care of his usual business. On good days, he would leave bruises in inconspicuous places. My abdomen, my inner thighs. But he went as far as carving a word into my skin with a knife. Harlot. And that was why I was afraid of knives. And that was why I was afraid of men shouting. I wasn't even sure what to regret anymore. I was in far too deep. And there was no turning back the clock. I even considered taking my own life on more than one occasion. But every time the thought crossed my mind, happy memories came with it. Back when it was just the three of us girls in the shop. Life may have not been easy, but it was never dull either. I didn't want to end my life at its absolute lowest point. I wanted, if just temporarily, to go back to the way things were back then. And that objective was the only thing that allowed me to keep going. When I was in his presence, I tried to convince myself I was merely an object. I had no emotions, so he couldn't hurt me. I was merely a vessel. A construct of flesh and bones. His hands couldn't reach my heart, for it was not connected to my body. Doing that made it a little easier to bear. But the reality was, it was impossible to completely sever my heart from my body.
You're Giselle, aren't you?
One day, the mistress of the estate stopped me in the halls. She had supposedly once been quite beautiful, but now she was only haggard and bony. Her skin dry, her sunken eyes, her hair faded and stripped of its luster, her head down, her lips cracked, barely moving as she spoke. Age didn't appear to be the only thing working its merciless magic on her either. And there seemed to be something eating away at her from the inside too. Something that could burst at the lightest touch. Yes, I am Giselle. Is there something I can do for you? The mistress rarely ever left her chambers. I had been told it had been years since she attended family supper. So what would bring her to come looking for someone like me?
Chew.
What? I wasn't sure I wanted to know the answer.
You're having relations with my husband, aren't you? You are, aren't you? Ah! You wretched creature. She was telling me the truth. One of my trusty maids caught a glimpse of you cracking the door. She saw you with him, you filthy rat. You seduced my husband. You devil, you conniving witch. You don't get it, do you? You don't realize how grievous your sin is, do you? Someone, anyone, restrain this girl. She's a demon, a devil. Tie her up and hand her over to the clergy. No, that won't be enough. A witch. You have to burn her bones, scatter her ashes, or she'll just come back to life. Yes, execute her! Kill this woman! Burn the witch! Seize the piece she's stolen from me! Cursed! It's cursed! This house is cursed! Not only is it taking away my daughter, now it's trying to take away my husband. Oh God, please shine thy cleansing light upon this house.
I know it'd be a waste of breath trying to talk to her. She was not of sound mind. There was madness in her eyes. I didn't even have to make a fuss about it. It happened all on its own. If there was no way around it, then I should have just done it myself after the first time. I didn't have the energy to argue with her, or to cry, or to shout. Before long, a crowd began to form around me and the sobbing mistress, and in it stood him. I assumed he would just stand back and watch. Much to my surprise, he stepped in, with an embarrassed look on his face to try and settle his wife down and convince her not to have me executed. Maybe he did have a heart after all. Or maybe he just wanted to save face. Regardless, instead of being burned at the stake, it was decided that I would be sent away to some remote forest. One of the previous Bollinger family heads had purchased a mansion there long ago, but it had been abandoned because of the stories people told about it. And they said a cursed witch dwelled in the house. She had returned to life after being executed, and now skulked about in the darkness. It was the perfect place to banish a sinner. And so, accused of adultery, I was in a carriage on my way out of the capital the next day. I hope my mom and sister are alright. And the two of them will believe in me. Even if no one else does. The wooden wheels turned, carrying me away. That cursed mansion. Just a silent coachman and a single sullied passenger. Looking through the window, I could see the city wall slowly fading into the distance behind us. I doubted I would ever set foot in this land again. Ever cross the Grand Pont again. It was a saddening reality, but at the same time, I felt a surge of relief. I'd finally escaped from that house. I'd finally escaped from that man. And this sense of freedom slightly lessened the weight of everything else I was feeling. A good while after we left the capital, the coachman handed me a letter. On the sheet of the parchment was a rather stifling revelation. There was someone else already living at the house where I was to reside. The Bollinger's youngest child. But the letter didn't say why he had been sent to the cursed mansion, only that he was there. Beyond that, the letter only made a single request. That I look after him and not ask any questions. So I'm not just being sent off to the middle of nowhere. I still have work to do. If I look after whoever's at the mansion, then they'll do the same for my family. I don't have much say in the matter either way, I suppose. The carriage rattled and shook as it traversed the stony path, and bouncing around inside it. I resolved to take back my life. And the peace I had once known. The peace the cheerfulness I had lost. And to do so, I would forget. Lock away my memories. Bury every terrible thing that's happened to me. And cast aside those memories and find my smile once more. I have no idea who I'm gonna find there. But they couldn't possibly do anything worse to me. I'll greet them with a smile. And do my best to build up a decent relationship with them. I figured since both of us had been banished to the same cursed mansion, there would probably be other things we had in common. And so, I would forget it all. And get my life back. And get my smile back. And that was everything that led up to me arriving at the mansion. All the wounds I never wanted to open again. I didn't want to think about that. I've been trying so hard to forget about it. I wanted to forget all about it. So why? Why did you have to make me remember? All I did was believe. Believe that we could make things work. Why? How could you? God, I can't take it anymore. Once the memories had broken free, they all flooded back with perfect clarity. exactly how he ran his hands across me. Exactly where he hit me, where he cut me. Like I was going through it again this very moment. The rain was cooling me down from the inside, but so much nauseating heat built up in my gut. I vomited all over the ground. I threw up and I threw up and I threw up until there was nothing left but bile. And when I had nothing left to expel, the strength evacuated from my knees and I collapsed. I didn't know if everything was blurry because of the rain, or because my eyes had decided they were done looking at anything. The whole world twisted before me. Michelle's no different. My attempts to get close to him, to always keep a smile on, was all a waste. The look in his eyes was terrifying. Like he didn't believe in anything at all. So he probably wouldn't have believed me, even if I had told him the truth. If he's convinced I have an ulterior motive, there's probably no changing his mind. Such a cold rain. If I lie down here and go to sleep, I wonder if all the warmth will eventually drain from my body. And then I'll decompose and become a part of the earth. And you know, that might actually be nice. I'd like that. I always thought I didn't want to die. And that I wanted to go back to the way things were. But who cares anymore? And I did my best after all, and that still got me nowhere. And cheerful Giselle was all just a farce. And when I'm dead, all my worry for my mom and sister will fade away with me. Oh God. I doubt you'll have a place for me on high. I am, after all, an unclean woman. And I've given up on living altogether. But even if I can't get into heaven, that's okay. I just want release. The rain pitter-pattered down through the leaves overhead, chilling my skin. The cold spread through my flesh and into my bones, my heart and lungs and stomach, freezing me like a block of ice. My consciousness drifted away from me, and the world slipped through my fingers. And more than fear, I felt relief. her black. And that, I was sure, was the end of me. And that, I was sure, was the end of me.
I am, even now, putting her through a harrowing experience. Digging up the memories she locked away. The past she wanted to pretend never happened. And laying it all out before her once more. But I must get her back to who she once was. Even if it means forcing her to endure this. She must remember everything. Because I need to know. Why did she become the maid? And what secrets does this house hold?
You're... Michelle.
Yes. My name is Michelle. I am not the white-haired girl. The person you were searching for was the man who once hurt you deeply. Me.
Why?
What was her why referring to? Why I hurt her? Or why I'm here? Or perhaps why I didn't show up until now? Not having an answer for her, I clenched her cold hands in mine. I wonder, where ends this cold that night, too? There's still more we need to see, though. And it's still too soon for me to apologize. When she's gotten everything back, only then can I. Once she's reclaimed herself, that is when I must tell her. Now, let us return to our past. Our story has only just begun. No matter what we thought or what we desired, no matter what we lost or how much pain we suffered, we must not shut this door. Perfect darkness embraced us once more. I can see nothing, not even the woman beside me. But I shall not let go of her hand. I do not want her to slip away from me. I do not want to lose her.
Okay.
Ooh, okay, you're good. Yeah, you're good?
I'm
Oh,
okay. It's work. Hey. Stay, stay with me. Are you alright? Thank goodness you're awake. How's your head? Can you see me?
What?
You had me scared silly there. I thought I might have lost you for good. I'm really glad you're alive.
Where am I? And who is this man? What was I doing?
You feeling up for any food? I can whip up some porridge for you right quick.
I was in the forest. It was raining. And before that, I was at the mansion. I feel sick. Like there's something still in my stomach. No, thank you. I don't want anything.
You really should have something. You need to keep your energy up. Unless you want to conk out again in an hour.
Sounds good to me. I'd rather never wake up at all.
You're not in the highest of spirits either, it seems. And all the more reason to get something warm in you. Please, have something. I've got some milk on the fire. I bet you can handle. Start losing all hope once the cold gets that deep in you, reaches down to your core. Take me at my word, please, just one sip. You'll feel like a whole new gal.
A heart-wrenchingly pleasant aroma wafted up the steam from within the wooden cup. Succumbing to the sweet smell, I lifted the cup to my lips for just one sip. And the warmth that spread through me brought tears to my eyes. Perhaps there really was kindness in the world. A ripple spread across the surface of the milk. I heard a gentle sigh come from the man beside me. After which she said with a smile, "You should take it easy for the day." I lost the willpower to think about anything. I didn't care what happened to me or why I was here, who he was, or even where this was. I spent the whole day in bed. Just watching the sun slowly slide across the wooden floor. It felt like I was somewhere far, far away. At times, I felt like a lost child, and at times like a sickly old woman on her deathbed. Watching the sun travel gave me a renewed awareness of the passage of time. And the fact that each moment went by was another moment I was alive. I realized then that it had been a while since I had gotten more than a brief glimpse at any sunlight. It almost surprised me how colorful the world seemed beneath the sun's light, something I didn't get much of in the dark mansion. Only after losing something do you realize how much you need it. Warm milk, the light shining through the window, and a bed that smelled like springtime. With those three things, my heart slowly began to defrost. And I'm starting to regain the willpower to stand on my own 2 feet. Thank you for everything.
Oh, you're sure you're are you sure you're in any shape to be on your feet?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm not hurt.
It looked pretty beat up to me. Ma, You, you look a lot better now. And you're talking a lot more clearly than before.
You've been very generous despite never having met me before. And for that, you have my deepest gratitude. Without your help, I would no longer be in this world.
I don't deserve your thanks. You're alive now because God's guidance made it so.
God,
I came across you early this morning as I was heading into the forest to hunt. Imagine my surprise seeing a young lady like you on the ground in my path. What were you doing in the forest? Ah, you don't have to tell me if you'd rather not. Everyone's got their own share of personal problems.
you're not going to demand I talk?
I have no reason to force you to do anything. You looked like you'd been to hell and back.
What?
I could tell just looking at you. Now then, do you have somewhere you can go?
Somewhere to go? Of course I don't. I can't go back to the capital or the mansion.
If not, then why don't you stay here?
Here?
Sure, it's a small village. We're self-sufficient and we help each other out. Our tax-hungry lords know we build the place up either, so we keep everything we make. We're pretty remote as a result, and the harvest isn't fantastic, but I'm sure you'll find it comfortable here. The rest of the villagers will be glad to have you. What do you say?
I Sorry, Mom. What I'm about to do might make the rest of the family's lives more difficult. But I don't want to have to feel any more pain. If I really wouldn't be inconveniencing you, if it's really okay, then yes. I'd like to stay here.
Oh, that's great to hear. I was loath to send you back out there in your current condition. I haven't introduced myself, have I? The name's, Amade?
Amidier, I think.
The name's Amidier, just one lowly villager of many.
I'm Giselle.
Giselle, that's a beautiful name. If I'm not mistaken, there should be a vacant house. Clean it up and you can call home.
I'm being informed it's Amity.
Amadi.
I couldn't possibly ask for that. I doubt others would like it if I just took a house for myself.
And that shouldn't be an issue. I'm the village's representative, more or less.
Representative, like the chief?
Only in name, though. As I've mentioned, we're not on any lord's maps, so I don't have much representing to do. The only reason why I ended up in charge is because I'm a bit more educated than anyone else. It was a long time ago, but I understudied with a priest. Because of that, I'm familiar with the Bible's teachings. So rather than a chief, the people of the village look at me as more like a priest. It would be much fun if the church found out about that. They're liable to think I'm acting unordained.
Then you believe in God.
That's quite the question. Of course God exists. He's always watching over us. That's why you survived, because he protected you. I understand that your faith can waver when you're going through times of tribulation, but those are the times when it's most important that you keep sight of who you are.
Right.
Now, you get some rest. Tomorrow, I'll show you around the village.
Thank you. I truly mean it. I really, sincerely appreciate everything.
Don't mention it, Giselle. This is your village now, too, so you don't need to act like a stranger anymore.
Okay. So, he's Amity. Amity. Bleh. He seems like a nice man. Maybe here, I can live in peace. It'll be alright. I'm sure. Yeah. I wasn't silly enough to believe my life would be perfect. But I had found a tiny fragment of my lost hope. While I had once been ready to give up on absolutely everything, I was starting to feel like I might be able to smile again. Eventually. Like I might be able to get back on my feet. And in order to do that, I had to cast aside my past once more. Forget everything that had happened in the Bowling estate and everything that had happened at the mansion. Forget about Michelle. There was one niggling curiosity, though. I couldn't shake something that he had said before I left.
My very existence threatens to tear down that house. The cursed youngest son of the Bollinger family. Michelle who made a pact with the devil. Who is supposed to be dead, but is very much alive.
What he meant by that? Why would people think he's dead? No, I don't care about Michelle one bit. Forget it. Get everything.
The house was, as it has always been, wrapped in a thick silence. Giselle's shadow, which had been lurking in the halls for about a month, was nowhere to be found. She hadn't come back since running off that day. My secret was still safe. Her efforts had, in the end, all been for naught. Back to the way things were. But despite my mind telling me that it was for the best, I felt a kind of guilt seething back in the back of my chest. And any attempts to figure out why only made me feel worse. But the look on her face then.
Please hear me out. I didn't know anything about you. I wasn't sniffing around or trying to bring you harm in any way.
Was that really just her putting on an act because I'd revealed her scheming? She was screaming, though. And she looked genuinely terrified when she knocked my hand away. I'm not falling for anything. I feel like I know that frenzied panic. Something doesn't add up. Be quiet. Silence, please. My head was pounding beyond belief. I couldn't stand anything. This world, the creature I was, the witches whispering. The archangel looked down upon me, seemed to be cackling from somewhere far out of reach. So, for whatever it was worth, to escape from his gaze, I once again drew the drapes over the stained glass window.
Wow, it's someone new.
Hey, where are you from? You gonna be here long?
Are you? Are you? Are you?
We hardly ever get visitors here, but so they're downright awestruck by you. You'll be getting a lot of attention for a little, but please don't let it get to you.
That's just fine. I'll do my best to get along with everyone.
You've got a spark in you that wasn't there yesterday. Anything in particular that cheered you up?
In particular, once I've decided I'm going to stay here, I just sort of started feeling better about things. And I figured I couldn't stay gloomy forever.
I see. I'm glad to hear
it. And it's all thanks to you, Amade.
Keep thinking of me like that, and my cheeks might get struck red. In any event, I said I'd show you around yesterday, so how about we do that?
Lead the way.
That said, we're a modest little village of about 100. 100. Everyone knows everyone.
For that size, it looks pretty big to me. Amade taking the lead, we walk through the village, passing by crop fields and milk cows, presumably shared amongst the villagers. Houses were scattered across an area that seemed far too large for only 100 people. Actually, getting a better look at them, the buildings were dilapidated, looking more like ruins than residences.
Once upon a time, this was a city rather than a village.
When your ancestors lived here?
Oh no, we were drifters fortunate enough to come across some decent looking land, so we stuck around.
How do you know what it was like before then?
There were a few stone tablets left behind, and based on what we were able to extract from their text. This area used to be a large city with a booming economy rivaling that of the capital. There weren't hundreds, but thousands of people bustling about. Merchants from afar came in droves. It was much like how the capital is now. Actually, this area was more open to foreigners. People of all different races, speaking as many different languages. It was evidently quite the sight and sound.
I had no idea there was a city here.
Well, that's what happens when a place is wiped from history. I can tell you how reliable the tablets are. But if you take them at their word, the city lost everything in just a single week.
What?
People, crops, livestock, all dead. Maybe it was a natural disaster, a famine, a plague, I can't say for sure. This is what the tablets said, though. We have been cursed by the witch.
First, by the witch.
Look over there. You see that river? There used to be a magnificent bridge crossing it, but there's hardly anything left of it. If you continue along the path beyond the fallen bridge, there's a forest. That's where I found you. The deeper parts of the forest are so dense you can't see anything but tree trunks and leaves. It's an eerie place, wrapped in a cloud of darkness. If we make it through that, there's a mansion, which is said to be cursed. The witch who supposedly destroyed the city lives in a house deep in the forest. She's been there for years and years and years, and she casts her curse on anyone who goes near it. The city was so large that the mansion was actually in its borders. My guess was the bridge was built to mark the road leading to it. Now, as you can see, the bridge is gone and the houses still standing are practically in ruins. But the mansion alone just looks just as it did back then. The witch living in the mansion goes by the name Morgana. According to the record, someone by that same name was executed in this area for witchcraft. And even in death, she continues to bear her grudge against mankind. Who knows how much of it is true, though? Truth or fiction, the story has taken root in this region. The city's history may be lost, but the legend of the witch continues to be told. People have a tendency to keep stories alive that scare them. Sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you.
No, I'm fine.
You're best staying away from the mansion in the forest than anywhere. There's no saying what might happen if the curiosity gets the better of you. Better safe than sorry if you ask me. Aside from the mansion, this is as peaceful a village as you'll find. I don't know where you came from, but I'm glad you didn't end up wandering up there.
I know all about the mansion and who lives there. I was there, after all. With Michelle for a full month. But I don't remember any cursed witch. Just a man with a bone-chilling glare. Maybe the rumors of the witch living there were spread by him. Or perhaps even his family. I could see them doing that. But none of that matters to me anymore. I'm never going anywhere near that house again. The witch's curse, Michelle, they're nothing to me. And with nowhere else to go, I ended up in this small village. There was no denying that there was very little to speak of here. But I found peace in that nothingness. I couldn't have been blessed that such a kind man had found me and welcomed me into his village. The village ran entirely off of its own crops and livestock. They had no currency, merely bartered amongst themselves. Coming from a merchant's family, everything felt so new. I had never plowed a large plot of land, milked a cow, or used a loom before. At first, I wasn't sure what to think, being such a departure from my lifestyle in the capital. But over time, I grew more comfortable with my new life, and the people of the village started thinking of me as one of them.
Giselle, come play with us.
We're playing hide and seek today.
Yeah, sorry, I'm spinning yarn.
A little later.
Come on, play with us.
Stop that. Don't you pull on my skirt. Oh, alright, you win. When I'm done with this, I'll join you.
And no teaching. We'll be down at the square, okay?
Got it. See you there.
The kids have taken quite a liking to you.
Amity. You think so?
They've been incredibly lively since you arrived. Children are more sensitive than adults.
Sensitive.
They're very perceptive of how others are feeling. If you begrudgingly play along, they'll pick up on that quickly. You like children, and that's a wonderful thing. There's not a good woman in the world who dislikes children.
Oh, I thank you. I don't think it's so much that I like them, as I think I'm kind of like a big kid myself. I genuinely enjoy hide and seek. But that's not gonna earn me any points.
Kids too. Watching them, it gives me faith that this world has a bright future.
Bright future. I've never looked at them that way.
I see that for you.
Nope. And they seemed to like you quite a bit too, Amity.
Thanks. Though I'd rather give my affection to my own kids.
Oh, you have children.
Oh, heavens no. I thought that was obvious enough. I'm talking about the future.
I see. But knowing you, Amity, I'm sure you'll find someone right for you, and you'll have kids of your own in no time.
It's not that easy, sadly. Here in such a small village, there are no ladies who would take interest in me.
You don't give yourself enough credit. I'm fully confident you'll find someone soon enough.
Do you really think so?
Absolutely.
And perhaps you could be that person.
What? Pardon?
I won't pressure you into it, of course. But I think it'd be marvelous to have you in my life in a bigger way.
But it's a little soon for me to think about settling down like that.
It is pretty sudden, I admit. Take all the time you need to consider it.
Alright. I have to go play with the kids now.
Have fun.
I wonder if he really meant it. Amity is a nice fellow. And I'm sure living here would be wonderful. but I can't help feeling something isn't right here. Why am I thinking about him now of all times? That man has no redeemable qualities. Not one. As it turned out, Hamidi was serious about his proposition, and he brought it up every time we ran into each other. Unable to give him an answer, I found myself constantly apologizing to him. Soon, winter started giving way to spring. On a day when the air still had a brisk winter bite and budding seedlings battled to break through the earth, and the seams holding the village together began to come loose. And that day, the village men were gathered in the square talking. They all had stern looks on their faces. It was clear that something had happened. I obviously couldn't stick my head in, so I waited until they were done and caught Amity. While it was rather awkward, I was still more comfortable asking him for information than anyone else.
Shall I?
With a dejected look on his face, he'd started explaining.
Lord found out about this village.
What?
And he said he's going to place this land under his rule, meaning he'll start collecting taxes. In addition, he's also demanding we pay 5 years worth of back taxes for our unauthorized use of the land.
But that's ridiculous.
Yes, it most certainly is. We obviously don't have the means of paying 5 years' taxes. There's no reason for him to take over this village at all. We're completely isolated from the surrounding area after all. But if we resist, he could send soldiers. It doesn't matter how absurd his claim to the village is. We have no choice but to comply.
That's terrible. What are we gonna do then?
We're going to do as the Lord demands. 5 years' taxes will have to be paid in installments. Some of the men suggested we abandon the land and find somewhere else. But it would take time to cultivate the land and plant new crops. It's no trivial task. We'll just have to make do with these changes. But we use more of the land to grow and try being more efficient. Will you help in the fields?
Of course. This village is my home now, too.
Thank you, Giselle. It'll be difficult, but if we all pitch in, I'm sure we can get through this.
I thought the same thing. If we all work together, we can make it through this rough patch. But the collection of taxes brought more than just a burden for everyone to share. It brought emotional strain and conflict to the village too.
Your family has more hands to work in the field.
I have a sickly child. You expect him to work any harder than he is?
Is this the same person?
I know you're hiding grain in your cellar. You have more than us. Let us keep a little grain.
You have more!
No, you have more!
You both have more than us!
When their comfortable lives fell under attack, the villagers' top priority became their own property. And the cooperation was only temporarily. And before long, everyone became a threat. The negative energy only built on itself, and its growth accelerating like a boulder rolling down a hill. And it wasn't long before their sights fell on me, the outsider.
Come on, get moving!
Ow, stop that! Why are you doing this?
I'll stop once you told us everything!
Told you what?
Wait, I think it's just one guy.
One morning, a man dragged me from my house and took me to the square. And there, the entire rest of the village was gathered, all eyes on me. What? What's this about?
Oh, don't play stupid! We all know it was you!
What was me?
Thief.
Menti? From the crowd appeared someone I knew quite well. The ever affable village representative. The man who had saved my life. But in his eyes now,
Thought you were better than that.
was contempt, anger, scorn. So many different shades of negativity. I recognized what I saw in his glare immediately, as someone who had been subjected to those looks before. But why? For what reason was he looking at me like that? I couldn't make sense of what was happening. So I just stood there, stupefied.
There's been a rise in reports of people having things stolen lately. This village is too small to attract bandits, though. Since the Lord now demands we pay him taxes, even the smallest item lost can have a dramatic impact on a family's living conditions. What you've done is no joke.
Wait just a second. I haven't stolen anything. Why do you think
You've been seen in the act.
What?
So long as there is a testimony against you, your guilt is assured.
Who says they saw me? I swear I didn't do anything. They're obviously lying.
You're the one who's lying! You've been playing us for fools this whole time.
Everything was fine till you showed up.
We managed not to get found until you showed up.
No, that's not my fault.
Giselle, apologize to the village and return what you've taken.
Amadei, don't you believe me?
There are multiple witnesses. Several different people saw you stealing. I've known these people long enough to be family, and I trust them like family too. They're not liars.
No, they're framing me. I didn't steal anything, I swear.
Framing you? Now you want to put this on us, woman?
Unbelievable! Have you forgotten we welcomed you into our village?
Amadei, please believe me. You of all people should believe me.
You've been avoiding me of late, haven't you?
What?
Because you've had something to hide, correct?
No,
What other reason could you have to avoid me?
Why? How can he say these things? Why won't he believe me?
Now return the things you've stolen.
I can't. I never stole anything. How am I supposed to return something I don't have?
I see, so you've already moved the stolen goods. She says she doesn't have them anymore, folks. How should we deal with this?
Roll her until she talks!
Yeah, she's
she's not getting off that easy.
Give us back our property.
Why is this happening to me? The harsh new rulership has driven these people mad. I need to get away from this village quick.
Restrain her!
No, get your hands off of me!
Have you forgotten everything that we've done for you? All that matters is that you don't have to suffer, is that it?
I didn't do anything.
Take her to my house. We'll make her tell us everything.
No, stop. You've all gone mad. Please, come to your senses.
Alright, I think this is the best place we can end it for now. Unless you guys feel like going really, really long, because there's quite a bit of this chapter to go. I know.
Yeah,
I was gonna ask.
I feel
how
like
much
there's a lot
longer
more.
even.
I was gonna say, how much more is there? I don't.
There's quite a bit to go,
yes,
so. Quite a bit to go.
I definitely have thoughts, but I will wait for my turn.
Oh my god, I'm just
I
fucking
have
sip.
a lot of thought.
I've been fighting for my life trying to drink this Powerade and I can't.
I have a lot of thoughts also, Rindy.
Also, I said unless, give me a break, jeez.
Additionally, I can't believe Orange was about to pull a professor that I had in college who was like, alright class, we just finished the quiz, let's start the next chapter!
Lordy.
I said unless! Jesus Christ!
It's fine.
He said unless.
Unless.
We were sponsored by G-Phil.
The choice is really ours to make, and that's up to us.
I literally have no authority over what any of you do. You could just stop reading the thing. It's fine.
The choice is
Which
literally
really-
ours, except
which
for
really-
when B shoots Orange through the head for continuing.
Yeah.
Or the
really, it's the
the one
illusion
who is
of
currently
choice.
streaming
It's
the
all the
game.
me. Okay, actually though, we should get to our thoughts very quickly. So, AC, you're up.
Oh my. I can't. One. I thought. I was like, oh, finally.
29 minutes! It took
Finally,
you 29 minutes!
I mean, to be
That's an
fair,
Academy
the
record.
horrible evils of capitalism and rich people got involved.
It's not really
I don't think
capitalism.
this is capitalism.
It's imperialism. That's
It's feudalism.
It's feudalism.
A symptom of a worse
feudalism.
disease. Anyway. Yeah. I thought I was gonna voice a good nope scumbag. But yeah, my thoughts. Wow, some bad shit happened to Giselle. It cannot stop happening to Giselle.
Man, get your fucking break,
Would you
man.
describe her as cursed, Stacy?
I mean, like, I am not one who believes in the superstitious. But I know that due to like the stories and all that, I have a weird ass feeling that she is in fact cursed because, man, my woman just got fucking triple comboed with just bad luck.
Quadruple comboed.
Did you know this curse has a name?
Actually, maybe Queen. Actually,
I know her name is Giselle, but like pronouns are faster. They're faster.
The curse is called being a woman in the Middle Ages.
You know what? Yeah.
So that time period with the stones and the witches and the burning.
It's not just.
But continue, AC.
But yeah. This is wild. One other thought that I keep thinking about is why did she decide to give the? Do you remember the woman in white hair that we saw, who was actually like Giselle and all that?
What, Edgar? I forgot completely.
Bits
Must have had a small role.
Bits aside, I'm wondering why the fuck was white hair chosen? And knowing me, it's probably gonna be artistic choice because fuck me.
I have shit to say about that when it's my turn.
But yeah, why white hair? Why the red eyes? Is it because Michelle also has possessed those things? But yeah, poor Giselle. Also, my final note is Michelle's dad was like, none of my sons visit anymore. I'm like, I wonder why. I wonder why they don't see you anymore.
And your
I'm
wife
laughing
turning
because of the
crazy.
pain. Oh god, heartburn.
But yeah.
Alrighty then, award-winning author Noir Iblis, you are up next. Let's get anything else to say.
So, do you? Congle man?
Oh my god. My thoughts are clear. I've expressed myself.
Okay then. Alright, yeah.
You can go.
Go ahead.
So currently, I've got a couple standing theories. One, I have this feeling that Michelle might be an intersex person, or possibly a person who has had a severe bodily change in things, which is part of the reason that his mother hates him, because she's crazy and evil, and it's the Middle Ages, and nobody likes people that are weird and different. And the man who is supposed to watch him almost asks a question: is it true that you do not have a? Which leads me to a lot of horrible ideas about where that's probably going. Alternatively, both his parents seem to be described as being rotting and insane and covered in festering wounds, which is something you would usually commonly refer to as having what the French called the Spanish disease, which is syphilis.
I thought that was the French disease.
Well, not in France, no.
I think it largely depends on where you were in Europe.
Everyone called it something else, yes.
But it's just known as syphilis.
Yes, syphilis is a disease that consistently affects the mind and body and is transferred in two well-known ways, which is sexual contact and congenitally through your children.
It sounds close enough to Spanish. Get fucked.
And it came from the New World too. One of the few rare diseases that transferred over to the
Relevant.
Old
But
World.
my point is that one, this might be a thing that the side effects of can just completely destroy the body. Has it been stated how old Michelle is?
It has not.
Because when you get to third stage syphilis, it will just give you tumors that can completely distort the body to complete unrecognizability. And Michelle is a man who wears a large robe that covers most of his body and purposefully touches no one and goes near absolutely no one. I think that part of it is that his parents are crazy because they have the holes melted in their brain from syphilis, and or that something has happened in the past that they are clearly blaming Michelle for. Purposefully, probably not in any way, but they certainly think it's his fault. Giselle just passed out in the middle of the woods, and has it been said how long she's been at this? It's only been like a couple weeks since she's been at the house. Yes,
She's been there for a month, she said.
A month. I mean, that's certainly enough time afterwards of transmission to start having effects like weakness, paleness, sores. There's these sorts of things that would come up that seem to spell this sort of thing, but I feel like there's still probably a couple of clues to it all yet.
Ew.
When it comes to the intersex theory, I also looked at this painting that's there. A painting with the face cut out of it. Someone that Michelle openly describes as someone he hates. Which could be a displacement method for thinking about his own past, a person he is forced to no longer be. I think the other theory is about the future of this, which is she is either going to go back to Michelle and be grief-stricken in a new and different way there by his callousness and his inability to reach out and express himself, which is also something that she is not doing herself, but for much better reasons, or presumably somewhat equal reasons. Or she's going into town and she is going to run as quickly as she can to find this Morgana, regardless of who it is or not. Because there's definitely a curse going on somehow, and it's still not clear exactly how we go from what seems to be deep-seated family troubles and political machinations of middle-age France to literally any other time period where similar, slightly varying stories of abuse and anguish and death are happening, not concurrently, but in the same sort of continuous vein. But so far, I think that's all I generally have on my mind on the matter. Also, be sure to read the Saga Song of Beaglesaurus, because the second Song of Beaglesaurus is wrapping up soon, and may be finished. Probably not within the week, but soon.
Really?
You know you have to pay $50 for sponsorship in my streams.
This is Orange's stream.
Correction, we are co-streamers, so we each get $50. That's the clarification.
There you go.
They can't stop you, Nor.
First.
They can't stop you.
Actually, no. Do it the rules though. You have to give them 25 each, and that adds up.
No. You mess with. You kick one nest, you have to deal with both of them.
Yeah, so you have to pay them both $50. So
You have to deal with Bofa?
Oh my god, shut up.
No.
See, now he has to pay $50.
All right,
Exactly.
Shenanigans over.
Aside.
Serious
Bone.
mode. But what do you think?
What did Noir mean by Bofa?
No, Con, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this.
Both of them,
Con, was that intentional?
Thank you.
I can't tell.
I'm genuinely asking what he meant.
It's a D's nuts joke. Alright,
you
so
go.
my thoughts are most... I am shocked you didn't know that one, Con. I am
Son of
shocked.
a
All right,
bitch.
moving on past.
I'm not
Next.
the one being good
Now
here.
me.
You
It's
guys
me.
are.
Everybody shut up. Everybody shut up. It's me now. Hello. Yes, it's me, Bonebard. So, Nora said basically everything. Me, Con, and him were talking about the idea that the painting is Michelle of a past identity. And so in the past, he might have had an E at the end of his name. Alright. That's about it.
Okay.
Go,
Let's
Shelly.
see. We got who is
Chelly.
Chelly, what's up, dude?
So it's actually kind of interesting. So I was listening to the podcast, the Council Super Beast podcast, and they were talking about Michel is pronounced Michelle, and that actually got me a similar idea that he was born Michelle and became Michel. That was my idea, but he could have, forsaken his identity, and obviously that's really hard to do in the Middle Ages.
Like a
So
dead name?
yeah, like he would hate being called Michelle with an E. So, but I guess he wasn't being clever, and he thought people would call him Michael. I guess.
No, Shelly, that's not
It's
how
literally
it
how
works.
French
Pronounced the
works.
same way.
Shelly,
Yeah.
you listened to the episode of that podcast. I think you missed what they were talking about, though.
But there were people who they were talking about people who called themselves Michael, but it was also Michelle, right?
No, they said that the male version of Michael is
yeah.
Michelle.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah. No, it's the other way. Not necessarily the other way around. The male version of that is also pronounced Michelle, and Michelle, the one with the L-E, the EL at the end of it, not L-E, is the French
Michel.
version of Michael. It's the French version of Michael.
They were saying that the vulgar Anglos don't know how to pronounce it the French way.
Well, no, it's just that's
I
how they
see.
would say Michael in French.
Yeah,
I mean,
we were
a
actually
lot of
talking about
English
pronunciation
a lot of
stuff.
English biblical names are actually like Englishified versions of the original names. Like Michael isn't the original either. It's Michael.
I was actually kind of schooled on that a while ago. I've been calling him Michael this entire time.
Yeah, like the whole thing in that podcast episode is the mispronunciation of the Pokemon X and Y because they were in France and that Pokemon.
Sorry, it was kind of early and I didn't remember all
It's
the
fine.
details.
You're good. No worries.
Linguistics.
Anyways, we got anything else?
I had another question. So, I asked if these villagers think that Giselle's stolen from them, why doesn't they just go to her place and look? And then Noir said that they assume she's moved it. Is that just something you said, or did the story...
No, it said that pretty directly, yeah.
It's
Might have missed
pretty
that one.
obvious that they're framing her.
But yeah, but like when that just like I was
Wait,
saying,
Shelly, they
obviously to solve
explicitly
the problem.
said, so you moved it.
Yes.
They said those exact words.
Even more than that, I wouldn't necessarily call it framing. Granted, somebody could have stolen something and framed her for it, but they are like so actively desperate that they would basically reinterpret her words in any way, shape, or form, because she literally said, how am I supposed to provide you with something I never had? And then they transmogrified that into, oh, so you fucking had them and you just sold it to somebody else. Alright, so it's just gone then? Alright, fine. Well, we're gonna...
In their minds, she's guilty. There's no way around it.
To put it another way,
At this point.
it's sort of like a witch hunt. And I really hate to use that term.
You know what, I'll give her that one. I'll give her that one.
They're probably gonna start calling her a witch soon, so...
I mean, it is basically a witch hunt, so you're accurate.
So anything else you want to add?
Not yet.
I'm good.
Okay. So let's
Renders.
see. Stuff on the list. We got. Wait, hold on a second. You cheated your way up there by saying, "Damn,
I'm serious.
my headphones."
My headphones are aggressively beeping at me.
They are true.
Okay.
First off,
Alright.
she is that is true. She's telling the truth.
We got it.
Additionally,
You can go.
Well, let me speak, motherfucker.
Oh.
Just saying, go.
We got it.
I'm not simping. I was going to say that I wanted to share this with Rindy anyway because our theories are very much overlapping. So there's might as well.
Okay, so you're in love. Anyways,
I'm
Your
not.
Honor.
Fuck's sake.
To start
So
with.
you're not in love. Got it, Your Honor.
To
Windy,
start
your
with.
thoughts.
To start with. She really just can't catch a break. She's born into a poor family, coerced by her master into sex, exiled by his wife, threatened and slashed by her new master, and now imprisoned by the village that welcomed her and she decided to give it all for. Fuck. Jesus Christ.
She has extraordinarily bad luck.
Okay, so there are a lot of hints pointing towards Michelle being either intersex or trans. It fits being a curse or a result of a deal with the devil, and well, less so trans and more intersex, but it feels like him being called an abomination by who I assume was his mother. It has the Noir brought up the manserver that asks if Michelle has something. And also, like, both other people and Michelle himself called himself the witch and used the name Morgana. Also, his dad said, and italicized she has long lost her mind, and other than that, only brought up his sons.
Oh, sorry. I guess I forgot to message you about that in the notes because I know you had said something about that. That was referring to his wife.
See, I thought that could be the case, but it seemed like a weird. I don't know, because like he didn't bring up a daughter, even though he supposedly didn't bring up any other daughter, even though his wife confirmed that they had a daughter who the house took from them. So it felt more like a small misdirection rather than actually meaning the wife. It felt like it was ambiguous on purpose.
Yeah. Well, they state children later on, so they have multiple children.
But the dad only says sons. He doesn't bring up any daughters. Other than and he doesn't bring up I guess he doesn't bring up the wife otherwise either. But
it's playing the pronoun game.
It's also possible that he doesn't really see Michelle as his son / daughter / anything after that. Like just complete disownment.
Maybe, but I don't think. But maybe you can't tell for sure. So yeah, like I said, the wife saying the house took her daughter. Now the portrait, it seems quite likely to be an old portrait of Michelle that he hates because it's a reminder of its past or how he used to look like or anything like that. People talked about Michelle being the name he was assigned at birth, which is very possible, but it could also be like Morgana was the name he was assigned at birth. And the entire like witch tale grew up as a result of that supposedly the person he was executed, but yet he's still alive and now lives secluded, and rumors and stuff being especially like it being a deal with the devil and stuff like that could have resulted in it being twisted into like a legend about the witch, or like connected with the previous legend about the witch and given a name as Morgana. The white-haired girl could also be connected to all these, being like a manifestation of that side, or maybe what the maid signed the portrait, and the name of the white-haired girl would be like people have said that it's like 8 characters. So it could be like the name Michelle spelled in the feminine version. He also specifically, Michelle has a quote where he said he hates the creature that he is, which also like fits into that. So that's a lot of hints. So I don't know. Yeah, that's mostly what I have to say.
Cool. All right, go ahead, Joshua.
Well, I'm just gonna add on a little bit to Rindy's. Not much different. I said the one thing that kind of differed from there. I do think Noir's is very much a possibility given that, but that I think the only flaw I have with that theory is that it relies kind of solely on it being well, kind of a period piece, and we don't know for sure if it's like, oh hey, this is meant to take elements from everywhere. We haven't really heard anything of like, I guess like besides like certain things like an actual illness going around to other places. But besides that point, like the key thing for me is more or less the guy asking, do you have a thing, and then like seems a little like weird because like I'm trying to think, what would you phrase that in a way that's like, do you have a it's just the phrasing that like makes me go kind of perks my eyebrow up and go, I think it's something related to his body at the very least. But that's kind of my deal, real short. Mostly agree with Rindy during that because we were DMing each other about that.
I bet you were.
It is a solid theory.
Alrighty then.
Any other
Roboot.
thoughts, Josh? Are you
Oh,
done?
actually, yeah. You got anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, Reboot, you're up.
Personally, I've got nothing to say since I'm half the session.
Reboot's in a state of shock. Con.
Everybody's already said everything that I was thinking in the first place. I agree with Noir on the syphilis stuff. And secondly, today I learned syphilis can actually rot your brain as well as your body.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
Con,
called
you
twisted
should see.
thinking.
You should
I
see
feel
what I
like,
did to.
I feel like so many people have learned about syphilis today.
Con, you should see what I did to Al
Truly an
Capone. It's
educational
really
session.
funny.
Al Capone had syphilis?
Yes, he was fishing and
Probably, yeah.
wait,
Let's
guys,
keep going.
Okay, let's
going.
get
Can
back
we
on
please
track here
keep this
because
bitch
I don't have
moving?
any other
Yeah.
images in my brain.
They don't want to talk about anything gross.
Yeah,
Moving
let's
on.
keep this
I
bitch
just
moving.
wanted to
yes.
talk about him fishing in his
The only
pool.
other things I'm going to go ahead and say are the way that this whole story has been playing out, it really is one large tragedy after another. It makes me wonder if this is just. It doesn't feel like this is exactly where everything began, though, because we still have the legend of the witch Morgana. That makes me have to wonder. What if there's another story that has yet to be told about the story about the can't speak today. What if the next story that will be told will actually be one about Morgana's origins in this city? Or at least the one where this village is now sitting. Omidi did indeed say that there were stone tablets that talked about Morgana and about the curse and everything.
I wonder how far back that.
He did also say he couldn't vouch for how true they were.
That is also true, but I'd like to give anything the benefit of a doubt.
I wonder how far back those tablets go. When they were made.
That's also a good question. I also have to agree with Noir and Rindy and say that the way Michelle is presented here, it feels like he's. It wasn't unisex, it was intersex. There we go, I remembered it this time. Or if he was trans. Which does explain a lot of this. In which case, this is. Yeah. Everything else I have reaction wise is just goddamn Giselle must have rolled a nat 1 in luck because oh my god, she needs a break, okay?
No.
Damn.
She will only have breaks to further her suffering.
Damn. That's all I've got to say.
Her life will be continuous rug pulls. Alright, Sim?
Kind of already went over everything. Thought of. Mostly interested in the portrait and why he ripped it up. Like, if it was someone he knew, or if it was, like Rindy said. I don't know, I don't really have a lot. People kind of already said everything.
Gotcha. And Crimson?
Just like everyone else before said what I saw before, except for I want to add one little thing. She's definitely going to go back to the mansion. There's no way about it. Just like how the fourth story was sort of similar to the fifth story, except for some elements, there's definitely going to be a point where she said, fuck, I gotta leave this village. There's nowhere else to go. God damn it, I have to go back to the mansion.
Yeah, that does seem where the story's going at this point.
Yeah, she needs to wrap stuff up.
Also, the villagers are going to go and attack that mansion, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Well, you remember the ending of the fourth story?
Yep, I believe you.
So, yeah, it's going to end somewhat violently at a certain point, believe me. But realistically.
Sorry to interrupt, and I know it's not my turn to speak, but general question, do you think this door has the saddest or most tragic story involved?
More realistic,
thus
though.
far?
Well, we'll see.
This door has gone places.
I don't know. Those other ones were pretty
The
bad.
first one and second one were pretty fucking bad.
The
So we'll
Jumbo
wait and
one was
see.
pretty
It's
bad.
not clear yet.
I don't think Giselle has been like mutilated by like a mob of people.
She literally has a word carved into her body somewhere.
Harlot.
Yeah.
And she might have syphilis.
Oh yeah, that's a bad one.
Sorry, I used the wrong
That's
word.
not
What I meant to
great.
say was dismembered.
Was the white-haired girl dismembered in any of those?
I believe so. I think so too.
Wait, what are y'all talking about? Sorry.
In the second
Georgia.
door with Bestia, did the girl with white hair get like get
I
dismembered?
thought she just got stabbed.
She didn't get dismembered. She got like stabbed maybe several times and dragged like.
Yeah, she was dragged. That was the thing.
By a
There was
mob.
a lot of blood.
It was presumably not clean.
By an angry mob.
But not like straight dismembered. No.
Man, this story is really dark and depressing.
Even more than
I think
Umineko
that's
at
the
third
point,
place.
Con. Unfortunately.
Let's not talk about things that are not this, if we can, that we've done in the past.
Really just makes me want to keep holding on to some hope that maybe, just maybe, Giselle will actually have at least some silver lining and actually just get some good luck or have some good turn of fortune.
I say
I
no.
want her to end up happy with Michelle after everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I want him.
They are
her
on the
with
road
him.
toward it in current time, so hope for the best. At the very least.
The current relationship that they have is just the master and the maid right now does seem indicative of how they will become.
She can do better than him.
No, that's.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's quite. if I quite agree with that. Like, yeah, she's a maid, but but the maid is sort of like a false personality also that she's like taken on, and
Like a coping mechanism, maybe?
maybe, but it's more like it seems more concrete than that. But what was I gonna say? It's more. It seems like the relationship did eventually evolve towards something better, towards something else, because we did see that like we saw that like in the fake flashback we saw with Michelle and the whiter girl in like the tower in the spire. We saw that it was actually Giselle in that situation instead. So I believe that is what the relationship will actually evolve into eventually.
You two don't really have that much chemistry in this version.
Isn't this whole
hasn't been too
thing
long.
like the
Right
whole
now
frame has been Giselle and Michelle trying to remind each other of who they are?
Mm.
Like, I'm kind of hoping that they don't get together.
Why?
They are not. Michelle is not a good person.
Michelle has a tough
It's
life.
complicated.
Giselle also, and also like both of them are hiding stuff from each other, and both of them were like, I don't know, sort of keeping guard and not letting themselves really open up. Yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
I mean, like, it's just I don't see any chemistry between them really.
They can
It's like-
definitely. I disagree. I think there were tons of chemistry. Just like
I'm with Ricky on this one.
they had at the start, they had really good like back and forth and chemistry. It just like wasn't really going heading in that direction because Michelle was too guarded and not really willing to really open up or get close to her.
Kind of a
And
dick.
Giselle was putting
Yeah.
on the facade of trying to be happy and everything when she was just as guarded as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Alright.
Everybody.
Good night.
Oh, are we done? Oh, wait, what? You're
believe
off?
that if anybody else has any
I
other
believe
distinct theories, we do.
All right, sounds like that's it.
All right, cool.
Yep.
Good
Alright, Al
stream.
Capone
Good
went
discussion.
fishing in his pool.
Okay. Actually,
Sorry
hold on a
about
second.
that,
I want to do something here really quickly because we were exactly 15 seconds away from being at exactly 3 hours. I'm trying to get it just right, so give it just like
52,
3,
53, 54, 55. Come on. Almost there.